What's next for John Morton, the Lions offense, and the Detroit Lions organization as a whole? I think the first thing is getting back into the familiarity with the offensive system. What will change now with the implementation of John Morton as offensive coordinator? He is, from my outside perspective, a little bit more pass heavy. I think he'll certainly utilize the play action, but I think you'll see a lot less empty set, a lot more reliance on the wide receivers. He comes from that background. He's a wide receiver at heart. He was a wide receiver at Western Michigan University and spent a lot of time as a coach throughout not only the college system, but the pro systems here under tutelage of Sean Payton, everything we've talked about. So he'll bring a lot of expertise to that unit alone. How will that then affect the Lions offense as a whole? So I think the most important thing is how will his philosophy affect what the Lions currently have, and how will that then change not only the roster but the coaching scheme as we move into this offseason? I think it's very important that John Morton has that familiarity with Jared Goff, and Dan Campbell has talked about the continuity importance as the Lions move out of this past season and into the offseason as we head into 2025, 2026. The fact that John Morton's familiar with Goff, he understands, I believe, his strengths and his weaknesses. The fact that this team is so reliant on the offensive line, the rushing attack, I don't think he's going to stray away from that. But I think he's going to ultimately take his familiarity with Jared Goff in his past, use what he's been able to pull out of the systems under Sean Payton in New Orleans, John Gruden in Oakland and Las Vegas, and then again under Sean Payton in Denver, and really carry on what this Lions offense has been these last few seasons. They've been a top offense, if not the top offense in football here in 2024. I'm sure John Morton's goal is to maintain that, if not open up some of the possibilities here with the talent that they have. And with all that, there will be some changes. It won't be an exact carbon copy of the Ben Johnson offense. We saw some of the downfalls or pitfalls to that in this loss to Washington. And I don't mean to spotlight that as an overall arching effect on Ben Johnson and his time here in Detroit. Ultimately, there will be some changes as John Morton installs his version of that offense. And one of the key pieces will be the free agent players that the Lions have coming up. They're really going to have to address the current free agent allotment that they have, who's going to stay, who's going to go. We've spotlighted a couple players on offense, and especially the offensive line, Kevin Zeitler, the guard, the wide receiver, Tim Patrick, along with some other pieces there. They need to look outside of the organization and bring in a free agent piece here and there to fill any holes that may be left over. And then from that point on, it's kind of gearing up towards the draft. Who did they not bring in? What holes are left over? And how can Brad Holmes then supplement the offensive roster to really take this to the next level and make it what John Morton sees for the future?